And finally this week on the Communicators, we talk with the Vice Chair of the Energy and Commerce Committee, Marsha Blackburn, a Republican of Tennessee, about some of her views on the FCC and other issues. And now joining us on the Communicators is the Vice Chair of the Energy and Commerce Committee, Representative Marsha Blackburn. Representative Blackburn, you've been very active in telecom issues. Why has that taken on a special resonance with you?
Well, it is so important to my district, and I think it's also important to freedom, because look at how we utilize electronic communications now. It's kind of the backbone of our communications process. And when we have an activist FCC and they are trying to reach in and control more of what people are hearing or how they're receiving their information, that causes concern.
Brand new bill that you have introduced,
yes,
dealing with net neutrality. What is that?
The Internet Freedom Act. And basically what it says is that the FCC cannot implement net neutrality rules. Now that is a warm fuzzy name they have given to what they want to do to control the access to the internet, the way the providers and the users utilize the internet system. And that would be dipping into how you nuance your speeds and how you prioritize value and content on the internet. Now, this is not a new something that the FCC is trying. They've been down this road before. And they've had legislation in Congress, and Congress on a bipartisan basis said no to net neutrality rules. So then they decided they would do a rule making and give a net neutrality order, which they did. And you can look at December 21st, 2010, and then again when they published it in November of 2011. After they did that, a lawsuit was filed. It ends up in the DC Court of Appeals, federal court, and the court rules against the FCC in making these net neutrality rules. Now they're saying, well, we'll go at it another way and try to implement these rules again. So it is time for Congress to step in and disallow the ability of the FCC to do net neutrality rules, and that's what my legislation does.
Overall, what do you think of Tom Wheeler so far as chair of the FCC?
Mr. Wheeler, I think, is someone who is going to be interesting and active.
Marsha Blackburn, you've also introduced an FCC reporting bill. What does that do?
Oh, what we're wanting to do is make certain that the FCC releases all of their information in a timely manner. And we're going to go through an entire process of FCC reforms this year. We think the agency should be more transparent, that they should focus on what they are doing with spectrum and licensing. That is their core mission. We don't want them getting off into net neutrality and trying to have governance of the internet. We don't want them off in privacy and data security issues. Those go to the FTC. So it's time to narrow their focus and get them back to their core mission.
You represent Nashville, the
Yes.
Nashville area.
Yes.
There's several bills floating around in Congress now dealing with songwriters, with copyright, with radio issues.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy?
Individuals that create content need to be compensated for that content, just as individuals who create a widget or a new software program or an app that you load on your iPhone need to be compensated for that creation. It's all about protecting innovators and allowing the creators of this nation to benefit from the ideas and the concepts they bring to the marketplace.
Do you hear from your constituents back in Nashville about those radio issues?
To quote a country song, once a day, every day, all day long.
Marsha Blackburn, one of the things that we've been talking with members of Congress about on the Communicators is whether the '96 Telecom Act, it's time to be revamped. Where do you draw the line in the sand to say, okay, now we're going to start? How do you make sure, if you do, that it's adjusted to evolving technology?
Well, and the thing is, you don't want a Telecom Act that is going to be focused on the technology. What you want to do is shift the focus to end use. And the The light touch of the 96 Act has served us well because it has allowed innovation to take place within the spectrum of the internet and broadband, and that is what you want. Now, with the convergence of voice, video, and data technologies, you are having a reshaping of the marketplace. It gets costs down, it increases access. You also, with the applications that are coming on smartphones, you have new means by which you can access voice, video, and data. And because of this, we're going to need a light touch that focuses on end use and not on specific technologies. And what we should do is take issues one at a time and have a very thoughtful discussion about these and look at the possibilities for the future. We've got some known knowns out there where innovation is taking place, but we also, as we increase spectrum and as we pack down and tighten the bandwidth within that spectrum and are able to layer more slivers of voice, video, and data into the same width, it's going to require us to not constrain those innovators. Allow them, if you pack it, then to split it back out and do an attachment to that particular part.
A lot of your colleagues have talked about a comprehensive rein.
There are always those that like comprehensive. What we have learned is that comprehensive does not serve us well. And whether it was Obamacare, 2,300 pages is now turned into 20,000 pages of rules and regulation. Comprehensive immigration reform failed. What we do well around here is what the American people want. Take issues one at a time. Be very precise, where you can define a harm and define a solution and take an action.
Representative Marsha Blackburn, Vice Chair of the Energy and Commerce Committee. As always, we appreciate your time on the Communicators.
It's good to be with you. Thanks.